and have the people watch the. Okay, so we're gonna start, even though we've got a small group, because I would like to, be conscientious of people's time who are here. And if anyone missed it, they can watch the recording. I just want to kind of catch everybody up on where we go. Thanks, Lizette, for driving the slides. So here we are with the milestone dates, and this is just a reminder that many of these dates have now passed. We'll show you kind of where we are on a site-by-site basis, but we're certainly making progress. We are going to be working on this month and next month some preliminary data from the beginning or the pre-implementation period, as well as starting to try to potentially consider getting some new data to look at the after implementation, realizing that some of the sites have been up for maybe now 6 months, but other sites are really just getting started. So this is just a milestone reminder where we are. So this is the month by month, the site by site milestone update. As you can see, there is a ton of green, which is great. Thank you to all the sites that are all green. That's excellent. We're still catching up on some communications with each of the sites. So there's potentially some of these red that are actually going to be turning green, either have been or will be shortly. So if there's stuff along the way that your site needs to tell us, we'll have a time today to report out site by site and tell us what's going on. But the great thing is, 6 of the sites are up, launched, running, and these last few are, at least from my understanding, very, very close for most of them. We'll keep going, Lizette. So as a reminder, there's still a few sites that need the data, need to get us the pre-data. We will go over it site by site, but if there's whatever we can do to help you, I know one of the sites had to update their IRB. There's a few other issues, pulling data, et cetera, but whatever we need to do to help. So be in touch with me, be in touch with Lizette, be in touch with Brandon about logistics and what else we can do to make it happen. And reminder, this is the pre-data 2019, 20, and 21. And it's the 2 pieces of the data, the registry, and then the missed doses. So next slide. So nurse education, we're doing great here. Remember, we're down to the 9 sites. 8 of the 9 sites are over 80%. Most of the sites are over 90%, which is great. University of Maryland is making progress. Every couple weeks, there's a few people. So they're getting closer to that 80% number. I know they're not on today, but they did a little bit in the end of November. December, as you know, is obviously pretty tough, but they're going to hit the ground and get a few more done, hopefully in January and February. Next slide. So as a remander, Doreen is an excellent resource. She's been to many of the sites in person. She's been to other sites virtually for the peer coaching and talking to people and spending time with the frontline nurses. So just a reminder that we need to make sure that that Doreen is in touch with your nurses about what's going to happen. If you haven't yet started, you can still have Doreen come and talk to people and get them ready for what's coming. If you've done this and we don't know about it, just make sure Lizette has some information, or Doreen will also keep her up to date on dates of interventions and things like that. So just a reminder and push for Doreen. Next up. So this is actually some new data. So I think we've mentioned this before. We've been working with a group at the University of Pennsylvania, which runs a mixed methods laboratory, which basically is going to be doing some qualitative interviews with people at each site. And it's going to be starting hopefully within the next month. We've got an interview guide with all these different specific questions. There's an IRB which has been submitted, and we're waiting for Hopkins IRB to look it over and approve it. And then we're going to be doing these interviews. So the way the goal is to understand the perspective on some of the sites about implementing the whole project. It's the nurse education module, it's the real-time alert, it's the patient education bundle, it's all the data collection, sharing, et cetera, et cetera. So that's the overall goal. And there's a whole list of questions. It's literally like 3 or 4 pages long. There's some that are general questions for everybody, and then there's some that are specific. I think if you go to the next slide, Lizette will show us that there's going to be, we've targeted with the Penn group. We're not going to talk to every single person at every single site. It just ends up being too much work and not necessarily, not that we're going to get enough out of it. So what we've done is we're in the process of choosing 5 of the sites. And then at each one of those 5 sites, we're going to talk to 5 different people, 1 each in each one of these roles. So it will potentially be some of the trauma surgeons and primary investigators that are on the call today. So we're going to ask for some of your time. The overall thing we think will take about 30 minutes. It'll be done by Zoom or telephone, a one-on-one interview to kind of get some specific questions about all this answered. So trauma surgeons or the PIs, some of the nurse managers, someone on the floor who's giving out the education and how are the nurses running it. We're going to look for some frontline nurses, 1 at each site. And then the IT builders, the alert builders tell us, we certainly have had issues. Some places had it done a little quicker than others. We want to figure out how that happened. And then the research manager or data coordinator. It's someone who's going to be able to understand kind of the whole role and all the data and all the pieces from that perspective. So what it's going to end up giving us is about 25 interviews, 5 people at each site, and they're going to pull together some themes from all these discussions. So you're going to be hearing more about it within the next, I would say, couple weeks for sites that get picked. Lizette will be in touch to make sure we have the list of the people by name and their contact and their emails so we can get them to the Penn group. So I'm going to take a break for a second from that just to open it up if there's any comments or questions. Either Lizette, if I missed anything, please, fix me or correct me. And then if there's questions from anybody on the call about this specific thing, now's a great chance to ask them.
No, you've got it covered.
Okay. Any questions from the audience? I think it's pretty straightforward. Lizette will ask you for the names, you'll send the names, and then the Penn group will be in touch and talk to them, talk to the people there to try to figure out what works and what doesn't and how we can do this better for wherever we're going to go with it next. Okay. Next slide, I think we're up. This is just a reminder, we put it on every call, that all of the documents are ready and available on the website. There's some stuff that's free and open to the public, and then there's the other part that's specific for us that's working on the project. There's the password. If there's ever stuff that you need, Lizette is always probably the best contact to say, hey, I need this or that or something else. But just a reminder of where all that stuff is. And I think with that, we're going to talk milestones site by site. Before I do that, is there anybody that has any more general questions or comments or anything they want to talk about before we go site by site, which turns more into the nitty gritty of each individual site's issues? Perfect. Anybody have a time constraint and has to go first to get out of here? Okay. So with that, then we're going to go in the order with that Lizette gives us. So Christiana is up first. Think I saw Annie Hayes.
Hi, I have no updates. It's going well. No issues, or just kind of looking for the next steps. I think you were going to tell us today when more data is due.
Yeah, so I think, your site is the one that's been going the longest. We're coming up on 6 months. So what we're gonna start asking for is some new updated data. We'll do that via email. I think what we'd love to do is get one more slice of a full year's worth of data. And I would be curious for the people on the call, how far behind you think your trauma registry might be. This becomes an ongoing question of, when do you think 2022 calendar year is finalized? We don't want to have to keep asking again and again and again, but we would also like to get it as soon as possible. I realize it being, the 9th day after the end of the year, we don't have everything finalized. And trust me, I was the slowest one in plot 1. I've been there. But what do you think is a reasonable time frame for when we start to ask for that data?
I think we're 2 or 3 months behind, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
Yeah, we're about the same. We're about the same.
Fair enough. Todd, Bruce, I mean, does that seem about right? 2, 3 months?
Yeah, 2 months.
Yeah, we try to keep it at 2, but yeah, that's about it.
We
I-
understand.
So I think start asking the end of February is not unreasonable.
So I think that's what probably we'll end up doing, because it's hard to, I mean, I guess in theory, we could ask for a partial year and all these other things. But I think the easiest thing to do is, there's not a huge rush. So if we start to ask in February, hey, is your registry complete? Can we start to re-pull the data? I think that's probably reasonable. Okay, perfect. Thanks. Any more words? It's, going well, issues, concerns. It's just kind of running smoothly. I don't see John on. I know he keeps tries to keep his finger
Yeah,
on.
it seems pretty smooth from our trauma floor nurses and nurse manager.
Great.
So,
Okay. Sounds good. We're good there. So University of Maryland, I know Paul was unable to be on the call today. We talked about the nurse education piece. Their alert is up and running. And they tell me it's been going well. Paul didn't have any specific updates or anything. Oregon. Anybody from Oregon on the call?
Yeah, Dr. Corrali wasn't going to be able to make it.
Okay, so we can, follow up via email. There's some empty spaces for the data, and that's an ongoing thing with some of the places. So we'll just keep following up one-on-one for all those different pieces. Stanford, I did see Dr. Spain, and I think I saw Shelley as well. Maybe not.
I think it's just me.
Okay. Any
Um,
issues, or how you guys doing?
I actually think we're doing pretty well. We've actually had alerts and stuff going out, so we're actually collecting data now. So it's pretty exciting.
I know it's taken a little while, not just you,
Yeah.
the whole project in general.
Yeah.
So it is exciting to actually hear that, the alert fires, nurses are doing the education, they're going out to people. Anecdotally, the data we hear is it's working.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. That's the Stanford, perfect. Lancaster, I don't think I saw anybody from Lancaster.
Oh, it's Joanne. I'm here. I was late.
Oh,
I apologize.
too.
It's fine, I didn't see your name on there. Okay. What's cooking?
So we seem to be doing well. I'm in the final stages of my application that I'm sending in for survey. So this is I haven't had any complaints. In fact, I heard that it seems to be going well. Very few phone calls are going out or pages are going out to the nursing supervisors, which is good. And pretty much everybody's fully supportive of it. So far, so good. Next month, I'll probably have some data about the number of calls to the nursing supervisors stuff. I have that report all built. That's helping with the education when someone refuses. So other than that, it's going well.
Sounds great. And will just tell everybody on the call, each site, as you know, has implemented slightly differently for how the alert fires and how they look at data. So I know, Joanne, you were telling us you get a report monthly. I know at Stanford, Shelley had told us she gets information at Christiana. John had told us that he gets copied on all the alerts and knows when they're going out. So there's certainly different ways. That is not a requirement, but it's nice to hear that some of the places are doing it that way. Okay. Thanks so much. Utah. Let's see, any Utah takers? We had some emails back and forth with them. They had a little bit of a problem over the holiday, so they're a little behind. But hopefully they are anticipating an imminent launch, was what the emails were going back and forth about. And Lizette, you and I can just keep following up with them and see what the status is. Wisconsin, I think I did see Margot on.
Hi.
How you guys doing?
That's right. Putting the nursing leadership of the Intelligence.
Sorry, I had a little trouble. There was a little echo.
according to nursing leadership, everything's going smooth.
Okay. I think it sounded like everything's going okay, so I'm gonna go with it.
Yeah, Margot, on one of our previous calls, I know you mentioned you fired, but there was a little issue. So just email me your date where your launch was official and everything went the way you expected, and I can update that in the PCORI website.
Okay, thanks. San Diego, I definitely saw Todd on.
Yep, I'm optimistic in 2023 here. I think our alert it's been built and in a test environment. They're ironing out getting it to the pager correctly. So it's firing an Epic BPA, but it's not quite getting to the pager the right way. So they're working on that. But my hope is that will be rectified quickly. And then once that's done, I can get the missed dose data, but I only have one project at a time from them. So.
Got it. And I think the alert, it makes sense that the alert is obviously the higher priority. Thanks for working on it and pushing it.
Yep. Yep.
But in some ways, we've seen this at the other sites, like they think they're ready and they try it and then it's not quite the way they think and they have to test it again in a few weeks here and there. And then
Yep.
we understand the holidays slow things down. So hopefully soon. So just keep us in the loop when it actually starts and is up and running. Just tell us and tell Lizette.
Yep.
We'll keep track.
We're otherwise all set to go once that's ready.
Perfect. And you guys, I know were upfront with the nurse education. Have you guys had the peer coaching? It looks like Doreen has been there virtually and visited and talked to everybody. So it sounds like that part's ready to go. It's really just waiting on the alert, correct?
Yeah, and I'll re-educate all the frontline folks kind of once the alert's ready to go. But yeah, we've done all the things up to this point.
Perfect. And if you need more, FaceTime with Doreen, it's not a one and done. You'll feel free to, have her come back again, especially if it's been a month or so since
Great.
it all started.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Thanks. Dr.
Hey,
Cook.
Elliot. Brooks. So we're a little stuck. So I have all the trauma registry data. My data warehouse has pulled it all, but had some IRB questions. Now the IRB has gone back through and looked at our thing and has demanded a whole bunch of changes, which I've been trying to push through. But it's taking them like 30 days for an expedited review, which is killing me. So I'm working on it. I'm in a massive nuclear war with them right now. So I'll keep you updated on that one. If you see a mushroom cloud going up from Charleston, South Carolina, you know what's going on.
Okay, hopefully not, but I got my fingers crossed.
Yeah, and then the real-time alert part, I've gotten some crickets from my Epic folks. I engaged with them again over this weekend. I'm going to give them a phone call again today and bug them about it and see where we are. But I'm a little frustrated, to say the least. But you and I can chat.
We certainly can. And the other thing, and we've done this before, is a little bit of, I guess hardball is the right answer. Because we've done this in the past, actually at Hopkins, when we had some IT issues and some nursing issues, we actually dug out the old letters of support and, Lizette can find the old letters of support and say, hey, John Doe signed this letter that said you would do X, Y, and Z. And now if that would help, we can certainly try to do that.
No, I have the letters of support. The problem for me, to be frank, is that's 4 CIOs ago, which is one of my challenges. So it's my predecessor signed that, but I don't really, I'm working on it. I'm frustrated, as you know, and I'm ready to jump off the ledge, but we'll keep persevering.
Well, please don't jump. And then, whatever we can do to help, if it's an IT thing of like, hey, it's not that hard, we can talk about it from the Hopkins side, or if it would help to have your IT people talk to someone at one of the other sites, once they get the stuff, I see Todd's face, once Brian Clay got the information from us, it was relatively straightforward. It's certainly not fixed and it's not done. But like, once they have that, it's not that onerous. And obviously you can show them the information. Hey, these 8 other sites are working on it and getting it done. So but whatever we can do to help, I realize, this is not a standard research project, right? It's not just you hire a research assistant who does the research. So we do understand this. And this is part of the reason we're going to be doing these interviews of like, hey, what were the barriers? How can we potentially overcome them ahead of time, et cetera? So
Well, I appreciate your help and understanding.
Yeah, I think we're understanding. I think, you know, we're gonna hopefully we can turn much of that red stuff into green for Pecori. They're the ones who are maybe sometimes a little less understanding, but hopefully if everything is going great, if everything else is perfect and this is behind, hopefully they'll be okay with it. So
You
we,
got it, man.
okay,
Yep. Thanks, Elliot.
perfect. Thanks so much. I think, is that the last one, Lizette? So I think that's about it. Let me just look in the chat. There's nothing super exciting in the chat. I think, you know, it's a short, sweet meeting. It's, as we said, once the sites get up and running, you know, I'm looking at the people whose report was, yep, we're up and running. We get you the data, we get the alerts firing, we're hearing it's okay. I think that's what we want to hear. So I think these monthly meetings are still helpful to know what's going on, but it's mostly now these last few sites to try to get the last little bits up and running, and then the pieces of the data, things like that. And like I said, you're going to be hearing another request for the asking questions part. And then as far as the newer data, give it a little while for your registry to catch up. So with that, I think we're going to start to close out. Lizette, anything else from the center side or anything else that you need to mention for the group?
No, I think just welcoming Stephanie. She's the new research manager with Dr. Hook's team in South Carolina. So we're excited to have her on board.
Excellent, welcome. And then I see the Hopkins team, at least part of it, I see Doreen and Brandon on and Mike. Anything from the Hopkins side, Doreen, maybe you just tell us how things have been going. I'm sure they were a little quiet over the past few weeks with the holiday.
Yeah, I think that's it, is that I'm hoping that, you know, you guys can reach out to me now that the holidays are done. See if we can set up some times to get some FaceTime with your frontline staff if they have any questions or just to chat.
Sounds great. And then Brandon is still ready and waiting for data. So whatever data you have for us, we're excited for it. Okay. Anything else that people want to talk about? Otherwise, you're going to get back a half an hour of your life. I see some thumbs up. Thank you, everybody. And Lizette will post this video and just, you can send out a reminder to everybody who wasn't on that they can watch it. So,
Hey.
okay, thanks a lot. And we'll be in touch with via email.
Thank you,
Thanks,
everyone.
everybody.